It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears Up!
Hey, welcome everybody. EarzUp podcast. Woo! We're back. I like doing this show, man. I go through like phases where I really, I was like, God, I just really don't want to do this ever again. And then lately I've been really enjoying doing these shows. So I'm excited. I feel good. I feel good.
You feel revamped?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like not like I'm on Property Brothers or anything, but I feel good. Like I feel revamped. Like I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Do you think it has anything to do with Disneyland being shut down and you haven't been in over a year?
Yeah, and like everyone's like hatred. It's like the Force, where you can feel like the other Force users in the room, but it's like all the anger and hatred that everybody has that Disneyland isn't closed or isn't open. It's absorbing me and giving me life. So once those gates open, I'm gonna be miserable.
You're strange.
I don't know, man. I'm just kidding. Welcome, everybody. We have a great show for you. We have Tom Ameen on the show, and Tom is a pianist, and he's released a few, or more than a few, Disney-themed albums. So we're going to be chatting with him about those and about what it means to be honestly, a working musician, which is very hard to do, in case anybody doesn't really know that. So we're going to be chatting with Tom here in a little bit. For you guys listening live, if you want to ask questions of Tom, please do so in the chat, and I will eventually see them, hopefully before Tom leaves. And then that way you can get your questions answered. The great Jeremy is here joining us to help me with the interview. Because so Tom, I'll just sort of jump in now. I don't know anything about music. I know what I like, okay? But as far as like carrying a tune, I can play you a song that I sung that is amazing. That I think is just amazing, but every time Beverly here, who has the voice of an angel,
that is not true.
Hates it. She hates it.
I hate one note because it is. I don't know how you're flat and sharp at the same time.
We've been over this.
That's hard to do.
Flart.
Yeah, I flarted. I flarted.
But it's just the one note where I'm just like.
Yeah. So anyway, but like Terrence is a gifted musician. Beverly is gifted, just in general. Jeremy is a very musically inclined. You follow him on Instagram, so you know he can just whip out his recorder and entertain.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And then Taryn and I are like,
no one ever.
Yeah.
I kind of want us to do a duet. But I just don't know if Jeremy would be open to that. But I totally would love that. Like I could play piano, and then you could do the recorder on top of that.
I mean, the recorder is in the room. It's not. It's never very far.
It's right next.
Excuse me
to
while I
literally on the couch.
That would be amazing. And then I can struggle to play the bass, and Terrence can play every other instrument known to man.
We've got a band.
We got a band here. Actually, I do want to get into that a little bit, but before we do, of course, you guys can find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Send us email. You know where it goes. I don't know. I guess I don't really care anymore. I don't want to do the whole rattle thing because it's like I say the same things over and over again. It's fine.
Yeah, but what if it's somebody's first time listening?
Is that possible?
Sure.
That we get more listeners? All right. Well, look, if you have suggestions, go to Terrence at EarzUp-podcast.com. That's another thing you learn about us, Tom, is that I think spelling things differently is cool. That's why it's ears with a Z, because
it's also cool with a K.
And the O's are actually Q's, so it's also that. Anyway, we're all over social media. Come find us. Listen live. If you become a Patreon supporter, as little as $2 a month, which is, I think I worked it out, like 35 cents a show. We post every week. I post this nice little graphic about what's coming up next on the network, I guess, for the week. So we have a lot of stuff happening this week and next week and coming up and whatever. So you can get all the scoop over there over our Patreon page. And if you're in the chat rooms, like I said, if you guys listen live, you can be in the chat, and when we have guests, you can ask them questions. You can ask us questions too. Whatever you guys want to do, man. It's your show. I'm just living in it. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. It is. That is weird. All right, Tom. Let's start talking to you, huh? Because everyone hears me talk all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is really fun. This is awesome.
Cool, man. I really appreciate it. You were saying before we went live that you listened to our last show, which is Jeremy and I on EarzUp or EarzUp in depth, and you said you liked it, which I thought was very
really
kind. Yeah. Well, and then I was like, so this is what I would do if I was going on a pod. I would listen to see what it was like, but then I wonder what would you have done if you hated it? What would you have done?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I'd have to email you and say I'm going out of town, and then we have to reschedule, and
Smart.
something like that.
Yeah, that's good, man. Okay, good. I feel oddly enough that makes me feel good.
Emergency I have to take care of.
That's right. Yeah. Which in the pandemic, it could be anything.
It could be
anything. And that's the perfect excuse. This is the best time to make excuses.
Right.
For things because nobody can judge.
Advantage while we still can.
Yeah, I mean, you could just get up and leave now, and I would be like, well, I get it. I mean, it's the pandemic. What are you gonna do?
No, I think the show's great. I thought it was really cool. I subscribed, so I really pressed the subscribe button. So I'll be downloading them all now this week or as they come on. And I think you guys do a really good job. I thought the banter between you and Jeremy was hilarious, and I like the subject you guys talked about. It was really cool. I really liked it. It was my first foray into EarzUp.
Thanks, man. Well, and I want you to know, and maybe if you go back through the shows and listen, we don't normally require the guests to shower us with compliments beforehand. So this is really a new step forward.
Just afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting technique Jason has. So welcome to the show. Tell us about what you think about us.
Tell us a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah. Look, maybe I need therapy. I don't know.
What's your favorite part about me personally?
Yeah.
Would you have ghosted me if you didn't love me? How would that go?
That coming up after the break. Anyway, Tom. So getting into your background as a musician, I was reading your bio online, and it got me actually really interested in speaking with you and having you on the show, because your sort of like journey into piano came from Superman 2.
What?
That's correct.
Yeah,
it's true.
How does that happen?
Well, here's what I remember. You know, when you hear music as a kid, you remember songs you've heard as a kid, or I don't know, songs your mom sang to you, or what have you. And I remember music before that generally. But when did Superman 2 come out? Was it 81, 80?
1980.
I was going to say Terrence knows.
1980. I was 11 years old.
Okay.
So we went to see this movie at the theater. I think I went with my parents. They took our family or whatever. All I remember is, sitting down and the credits starting, the opening credits, and you hear that theme from John Williams. And remember, the credits are swooshing down and coming up in that blue thing in the back. I was like enamored with the whole thing, but I just remember really connecting with that theme. It was like this amazing theme, this kind of music that I really hadn't heard before, orchestral or pop orchestra or what have you. And I just fell in love with it. Now I was taking guitar at the time. I had started taking a little bit of guitar, and my parents had bought a piano for my sister because she was taking lessons at home. Okay. And I just went home and I could just hear it and started to play it by ear and just sound it out. And that's how it all started.
So could you play by ear on the guitar?
No. Okay. Isn't that the strangest thing?
Yes.
No, but the piano, I immediately connected with it. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I connect with the keys. This one does that one does that. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of figured it out. And then, of course, I got into lessons after that. But the piano, somehow I connected with it in a way that with the guitar, I wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's one of the things whenever anyone asks me, hey, I want my kid to learn a musical instrument, I always say learn the piano first because the theory is linear on the piano.
You can see the theory, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what I should do, because I'm like really into trying to pretend to learn how to play the bass guitar. It's an instrument that like you were saying, I sort of keyed in on. Again, it's back to me. This is what I do. And it's like through everything I hear, I love the bass guitar, like especially the bass rhythms in reggae. And it's just, it really grabs me. But for the life of me, I can't make the connection between my brain and The Thing, right? And so
Yeah.
to read that, oh, you just went home and plunked it out and you did it and everything was like cool. I'm like, man, that is pretty amazing. And to hear that you didn't come from doing that on the guitar. So were your parents like floored at this, or were they like, we expected this of you, Tom?
No, they did not. They're like, "What are you doing? Like, how are you doing that?" And I just said, "I can see it. Like, I could see in my head. I could visualize the notes or whatever, the picture.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but I was just able to sound out dun, 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 the fifths and the thirds. I just kind of understood it. And then they asked, "Well, do you want to take lessons?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." So let's see what happens.
Were you so I've recently realized that my brain has rotted away from like watching too much TV and like and movies, and so everything in my life has to be cinematic and dramatic and whatever, right? Because I'm insane. But so I imagine, like, reading this, I imagine in my head you're like sitting at the piano and like doing these flourishes, right? Like, I'm sure it wasn't like that, but that's what I really want. And your parents are just like slack jawed. Your mom faints, maybe, if we're going to be like an ABC TV show or something. They feel like,
well, they did
good.
tell me. They came downstairs. They heard this playing. They're like, who the hell is playing? Like, who's playing that? And it was just me, because my sister had taken by then maybe for about a year or so, and she was okay. She's actually pretty good now. My sister bought a piano for herself in her home. I have two sisters.
Okay.
This is my second sister next to me in terms of age, and she's been taking piano lessons. She's actually pretty good. So she did a good job, but for some reason, when it connected with me, it just felt really natural.
Were you better than her at that point when you first started?
Damn. And I felt that it's hard, because it would be hard, I think, as a parent to see one kid taking an instrument,
yeah,
maybe really liking it, and then here comes your other kid that just picks it up like that. It can be sometimes a challenging thing, because I taught piano for a long time. Well, I still do, but I would remember, like, I had a couple students that were brother and sister, and the brother got everything. He was a really cool kid to teach. He just got everything I put in front of him. He's really good. And his sister really struggled with it. And I felt so bad, because I could tell she was feeling a little bad that she couldn't keep up with her brother. So I don't know how, as a parent, how you deal with that. I'm not sure, but I think my sister quit after that for a while.
I would too, man.
It's funny you say that, because that's actually exactly the same thing that happened with my husband and his sister. They both took piano lessons, and my husband's like an idiot genius.
He's very
and like
highly gifted. Yeah, emphasis on idiot, but also on genius too.
But also on like genius.
Yeah.
But like, no, he picked it up. Like he's a great piano player, guitar. Like he's very musically gifted, and his sister just struggled, and she tried so hard, and she was like, he hardly ever practiced, and he was just like got it, and she practiced all the time and was just trash. Like, even like still, she's just like, I quit.
It's just there's certain
screw
things,
that thing.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, there's so many things I wish I could do that I couldn't, that I can't. There's so many things. Everyone just has something that they just connect with, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that happens, it's a family dynamic. Did your sister did that cause tension between your relationship with your sister?
No, it wasn't anything like that. And my
good.
sister
Okay.
also had many other talents, and she was very gifted in school and did a lot. She's very intelligent.
Okay.
And very smart. And I don't have that. Like, I'm good musically, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's not me. So she had other things going on as well.
Okay.
It didn't cause that much friction.
Good. That's good. At what point do you start writing your own songs? I mean, you're taking lessons. Obviously, you're doing very, very well. Where are you in that sort of like, are you just automatically jotting stuff down even though you're taking lessons, or?
Yeah, we started when I was in 8th grade. We're like written up in a newspaper. This is in Mentor. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So I'm from the east side of Cleveland is where I grew up. I live in California now, but I'm from Ohio. And we went to our grade schools growing up. We had other friends that did music as well. Like, I had a friend, her name was Van, that played the guitar. So about 8th grade, we started to write some songs together. And we even one time got out of school. Do you remember the show Fantasy, or what was it called? Leslie Uggams hosted it. What was it called? you guys are probably too young. There was a show in the 80s where you could have like amateur people. This is before Star Search and stuff. And you could go there and like audition and stuff. And they actually let us go out of school one day to go audition the song for these people. So I started writing really early. I think as soon as I started to understand music. Now, the songs were not good. They weren't good. That didn't, when I was a teenager, things started to get better.
Sure.
But I think I started right away just fiddling around and trying to come up with stuff.
Do you ever revisit? Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
I have a question about writing because there's a lot of people who play. I can play, but when you're writing music, like, did you just sit down and say, "Now I'm going to write something," or were you walking around with a tune in your head and you said, "Boy, I've got to get this down before it's out of my head"? Like, which came first?
I think it's that's a good question because for me it's a little bit of both. Like for me, right today as I'm writing now, I'll usually have ideas in my head, like you said, and I have to be like, okay, I have to write this down. I have to go record this just so I don't lose it and come back to it. But then if there's a certain, I don't know if we're going to talk about it in this podcast, but I just did that project for Outlaw Ocean for that New York Times reporter. And it was very specific because I read his book and I based all those songs I wrote on chapters from his book, and they were so inspiring. So sometimes if you have something that's really inspiring to you, that can start those creative juices flowing, and you just sit down and start seeing what you can come up with. It's not always good stuff. I mean, you got to fool around with it and take time and come back to it and everything. But it's fun to do. I mean, sometimes it's just spontaneous like that, and then sometimes you're walking around like with an idea, something in your head that you have to get this down, even if it's just a little phrase, a couple phrases.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I worry about it in the sense that, like, there's only so many combinations. Like, aren't we going to run out of new tunes? Like, how many times can you go from E to G to F? Like, eventually, won't we run out of combinations of notes in a certain sequence?
No, never run out. That's
because there are billions.
It's endless. Yeah. Although now there's going to be some patterns that are repeated. In pop music, there's a lot of repeats and everything. But think about all the classical music. Think about all the American standards, the greatest songs ever, pop songs ever written from the 30s and 40s. Think about the 50s, like it's always changing. Now there's going to be some repeats and stuff, but you can always be creative. Like think about Broadway shows, like The Prom is like an amazing show, or like Les Mis. Think of that from the 80s. Like all these Broadway shows are all original. It's still out there. There's so many talented people out there that are doing amazing things, and like Hamilton even. I mean, I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I don't think it's going to run out anytime soon.
Don't worry, Jeremy.
I lose sleep over this.
Well, rest assured, I'm here to tell you, you can sleep easy tonight. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Bev, did you want to say something?
I was just going to comment on, like, there are similarities because I know that, again, I'll use Sam as a reference. And Terrence, there's that U2 song where you guys say every song we sing at church is that song. Like, it just follows the same chord progression. Like, it's the same chords.
There's a lot of songs
with or without you.
Same, yeah, with yes. But there's also the song, the "Stay With Me" song by Sam Smith. He got sued by Tom Petty because it's the same exact riff as "Won't Back Down," and so, but you only have from A to G, but there's different ways you can do it. You can throw in some sevenths, some diminished. You can do a lot of different things to change it up. So.
Well, and
yeah, it's true.
And Tom, how do you sort of combat that? Because in lawsuits like this, every once in a while when they're big enough to make the news, you sort of read where the offending artist goes, "Well, I don't know, I didn't mean to do it. I thought I wrote it." Essentially, I mean, and on the one hand, I believe that, but on the other hand, if you have a song as iconic as "Won't Back Down," and then it's sort of like, how do you not steal from it a little bit and then not remember it? Or is that a concern of yours at all?
It's always a concern of mine because as a musician, you listen to so much music and so much of it stays with you that sometimes you're not realizing, honestly, if you're doing a pattern or a series of notes or whatever that might have already been done before that's really famous. I always worry about that. I do.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure how to combat that either. Like, you just have to write what you feel. And then what I do is I play it for people though too. I say, listen to this, let me know what you think. Does this, any of this sound familiar to you? I'll play it for musician friends and things like that. Say, is this original enough, or if because sometimes I have that fear, like, did I copy something that I don't remember, don't know that I did?
Yeah, for sure. That's my whole life.
Yeah, that's Ode to Joy.
Yeah. Oh, Tom, I love green sleeves. This is great.
I love green sleeves.
It's just the best, man. Well, you were mentioning a little bit before about your project Stories from the Sea. Why don't we get into that a little bit before we jump into Disney stuff? Tell me a little about Stories from the Sea, please.
Sure. I just released the album back in February. I was contacted. This was during the height of the pandemic last year in 2020 from a guy called Ian Urbina. He is a New York Times reporter, and he wrote this book. He does a lot of journalism on the oceans and all of the crazy stuff that is happening in the oceans that like no one knows about, in terms of like human slavery, murders, killings, like all these things with all the different kinds of fishing that's going on that can't be sustained. And he went on all these ships and got these firsthand accounts. And he wrote this book called The Outlaw Ocean to tell people, like, this is what's happening. You know, one of the chapters, he said something like, you can't expect to get a can of tuna for $1 at the store and not know that human trafficking and suffering has happened to get that tuna to you so cheaply, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's a lot of hope in the book, too. It's not just all this gloom and doom.
Sure.
But it was interesting reporting. And he had contacted me and said, I was a fan of your music. Would you be interested in writing some stuff? Because we're doing a project called Music Through Journalism, or Journalism Through Music. He has this idea, like TV shows and movies have all these soundtracks. Why can't journalism? Why can't reporting have soundtracks? And
sure.
Stuff like that. So I said, yeah. I said, I think this sounds really cool. And I've always had a fascination with the ocean. And I said, let me try like 2 or 3 songs. I ended up being so engrossed in his book that I wrote 10 songs for it.
Wow.
Over about 6 or 7 months. But I was so engrossed by this book. And so it inspired me to write all these songs. And that's how that happened. He just happened to email me.
That's cool.
So I didn't even know who he was until I looked him up.
Yeah.
I was like, and he's a New York, like it's a New York Times bestseller book. And he's really well known around the world for his reporting.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be a part of that. And we just released it in February, and it's everywhere, like on Spotify and iTunes, all that stuff. But it's a real special project for me because I really took to heart all of the chapters in the book that I was reading that he was talking about.
That's
so
cool.
I tried to put my heart into all that music.
Yeah. Well, I have a clip. You were kind enough to send me a clip of it. So this one's called No Boundaries. Wow.
Thank you.
I have like a billion of questions right now, but
Ask
it
them.
will
Go
be no, because it's all geeky questions.
Pick
This
one.
is nothing that
Pick one.
Equipment. What kind of keyboard are you using? Are you
I said
doing
one.
direct? So go ahead. Are you doing directly from keyboard? Are you using what? Are you using Logic? Like, what are you doing for all it?
What's your setup?
Basically Pro Tools system, and I have a bunch of plug-in sounds. I have a MIDI.
Okay.
I have a Yamaha Motif keyboard, but it's a controller, really. And all those sounds are plugins that I purchased and invested in because the plugins today are like insane.
Yeah,
unbelievable. But that's basically
awesome.
What that is.
Okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. Sorry, I looked over. I have an M Audio
Oh.
49 key controller right next to me as well.
Nice.
Wow, you
Okay.
were.
That's
Awesome.
cool.
Sorry.
And that's you playing all the other. Well, it's not the instruments, right? But it's synthesized through the keyboard.
They're virtual, yeah.
Okay.
But that's all my arrangements, all me playing all the different instruments. But the
Wow.
main focus on everything is the piano. The
Yeah.
piano is
Yeah.
the main focus on every track.
Yeah, everything. And again, I don't know much about music, but I know what I like, and I can hear some stuff, and the arrangement on that I think was very, very good because it is the focus on the piano, and everything else is sort of like accent marks on your playing, and it was very cinematic. And it's I don't have emotions except anger, and it was very it was sort of emotional. Like I could see that, and I picked that specific part of that piece because I thought, well, this is like the end credits of a fucking pirate movie or some shit. Like
That's awesome.
it was like very much like where
I'll take it.
yeah, where you're coming like you're coming off of the end of the movie. You just hit this 2.5 hour journey, and you sort of have this like refreshing but serious, mindful piece.
Thank you.
I thought it was great.
It was very transporting, if that makes sense. Like I could close my eyes and I could be. It was almost like Celtic in a way, where I was like, "Oh, am I like in Ireland?" Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like,
no, it's great. Thank you.
It was like I was there, but also in the same sense, I could hear that. We were talking about Nintendo earlier. I could hear that behind a Nintendo like scene.
Oh yeah,
Zelda.
when you
Nintendo,
just
because
won
it
the
wasn't
game.
Zelda,
indie
yeah.
enough, but like like Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
But man,
Yeah.
that was fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so, I'm sure as musicians, too, it's like you never really know what people are going to think. And you work on the music so much, but it's kind of like a bubble when you're not working with other people. So you're really not quite sure, is this good enough? Or, is the people going to like it? You're not really sure. So it's always it's not in a boastful way, but I'm always so thankful when I hear that kind of feedback, because that's what I was after, was trying to make who's ever listening to it feel something, some kind of emotion or transporting you to a different place,
Yeah.
And
So
then if you read the book, then all these songs make even more sense, because that's based on a really crazy chapter of like a boat chase, and they kidnapped this guy and they were holding him as a slave. The Vietnamese army was trying to rescue this guy. It was a crazy chapter, but I wanted to just write that kind of a piece.
It's interesting that you describe how much energy was in the text, because there definitely was an underlying driving rhythm. And even right as it faded out towards the end, you could really feel that starting to pick up. Like it was you wrote it in 4, right? But there was the way you played with the beat. I actually had to count it for a minute. I was like, is this in 4?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you.
My question for you is, because, I have a little bit of Disney blinders on with where you're concerned, because I just know you for your Disney music until today. But everything that I've heard from you really is piano solo. And so how long have you been doing piano where it's surrounded by other instrumentation? Was this a departure for you? How did this come about that you embellished it a bit more with other instruments?
This was a departure for me, because mostly I do record just solo piano. If you look back on most of my albums, aside from the very first album I ever did, but that was way back in the 90s, it's mostly solo piano, because I do love the sound of piano by itself. Mm-hmm. I felt this project really needed instrumentation. It needed to tell the story more than just a piano. But I have to say, the Disney music, I think, sounds so good on solo piano. That's why I did most of the albums like that, because the songs are so well written on their own. You can have a full orchestra, or you can just have a guitar or a piano or something playing, and they're beautiful songs. But that was a big departure for me, because mostly it is solo piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about excuse me, how you get sort of ideas in your head and how you arrange stuff. And I came across this quote the other day, and I thought it sort of fit in here. It's from Shane MacGowan of the Pogues. I'm sure everyone's familiar. I don't know. Anyway, do you know the Pogues, Tom?
I'm not that familiar with them, but I know.
You know of them. Okay. Shane MacGowan. Great. Anyway, he says, quote, "I can hear the frequencies, and I think everybody could if they tried. I'm normally humming all the time, whether I make any noise or not. I have musical thoughts. I think about music more than anything else. And I thought I wanted to ask you if that's something you can relate to, because I imagine that's what it is, especially learning your background. Are you just thinking about music all the time?
Most of the time, yes. Even like we talked about this in the pre-show, but I'm addicted to Animal Crossing right now, the game, the Nintendo game. I love it. But even just when you hear the music that's written for the games, like I'm always paying attention to all of that kind of stuff. I'm always humming things. I usually like to have music in the car, either podcasts or some kind of music playing.
Yeah.
So it's always on my mind.
I'm the
much
same
so.
way. I need music constantly. If I come downstairs or if I round the corner and there's no music playing, I get like itchy. I don't know. I just need to have something to either shut my brain off. Yeah. Well, and I never took you for a KK Slider fan, man. I mean,
I know.
you know?
Oh, he's the best. What can you say? I should do an album of those songs.
Oh my God, please do that. Oh,
that's hilarious.
That would actually be very, very funny, man.
I know, right?
And thinking about music and thinking about you thinking about music and all this kind of stuff. Again, in my head, I imagine like wandering Trader Joe's and like you hear some music and like you're arranging it just out of because out of habit, I guess. Does that happen?
It happened a lot with this project because once you get into like a project, it's kind of what all you think about for the certain amount of time that you're writing for it. Yeah. So I was always thinking about these melodies. Even when I was out and about or in the car, I would think of something like, I have to remember that for later. Because I forget a lot of stuff when I'm older. It's like I forget. I got to jot this down or at least play it so I can remember it. But you do think about that stuff all the time. Okay. Well, I do anyway. I always felt myself thinking, and what can I do to make it better? And how can I the chapter that I've just read, how can I make that into a song? That's moving. How do I do that?
I have a question on a similar wavelength to that previous one. Do you ever? Sometimes I think when people are very, very good at a certain thing, then they sort of overanalyze and overcriticize it and then end up not liking a lot of it. Is that something that you find for yourself?
Yes, because this is what I've learned now that I'm 51. You have to learn to let things go. Because I don't know if you record something, this could be for anything, I think, whether it's music or writing a book or whatever career that you're in. I think you can kind of get obsessed with the work, and it's like never good enough. And it's just like, even when I was recording these songs, you're supposed to do this with music, like do the masters or the mix, but then you walk away for about a week, and then you come back and listen to them to see what can I do different. So I did that for a while, but then I kept coming back to them. So, well, let me change a little bit of this. Let me change that. And then you have to get to the point where it's like, no, you know what? It's done. Let's send it off, see what people think. But you can't, because otherwise you'll drive yourself crazy, I think.
You'll be like,
it would never be over.
It's like George Lucas with that friggin' Star Wars movie. Leave it alone already,
dude,
brother.
It's like, can they just if you want to tinker or whatever, it's fine. But can you just give us the originals as well?
That's right.
So that I can watch we don't have to get into that. We all know this is a bit of a thing, but it's like, just give us the original as well so we can enjoy it. Because someone told this to me once that I thought was so interesting, because sometimes when I play and do shows and stuff, I have bad stage fright, so I get really nervous. And I remember the guy telling me, you can play wrong notes all night long, and it happens. People play wrong notes. It's how you make people feel, and that's all they ever remember.
Yes.
When you go to a show or a Broadway show, it's how they made you feel. That's what's important, and not that you want to be sloppy. You want to try to do the best work you can, but we're human, mistakes are going to happen.
Yeah. Well, for you maybe.
When I think of the hours of agony I have spent
listening to
bashing myself after I've published a recorder video with what I could have done differently.
Oh my God.
It is absolutely, I understand. Actually, I have a question along this wavelength.
Well, when are you going to get better at it?
I understand, Jeremy. I understand.
But ultimately, it's how I made the people feel.
Let it out. Let it out.
Yeah. And I felt like vomiting. And so thank you for that. I've lost
But
10 pounds.
But Jeremy you get all kinds of compliments on those videos. I mean, people love it.
That's true.
I'm turning into Jason, man. But really,
You wish.
No, Mike, I actually have a question. I hope I'm not steering us too fast away from that album and too quickly into Disney, but I'm chomping at the bit.
You're good, man.
Because you do so many of these Disney solo albums, one of the questions I had was actually like, this is stupid, but if I listen to a track, maybe it's When You Wish Upon a Star and it's 2.5 minutes, how often is that one take? Versus do you have to edit those together many times? How good are you?
Rate yourself.
Yeah, what I mean.
It depends on the song.
Jeremy.
That's all. I gotta
Depends
say.
on the song.
It
Okay.
really depends on the song. But of course, there's editing involved. No one. I mean, only Karen Carpenter could ever sing and like never make mistakes. I mean, I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes. What I'm good at is covering them up. My teacher taught me how to do that so well. That's more when you're playing live, but I know how to cover up mistakes. But when you're recording like that, you have the opportunity to go back and change stuff. So I would say, it takes a few hours to do one piano track, because you go through and what I do is I go through and just play it through one time. Okay. Then I thought, okay, let's go back and play it again. And then I play it again, but then you can stop and start at certain measures, and say, let's do this and then do this part better. And let's try this section. You just punch in and out, but it just depends on the song. But I do lots of editing, of course.
And when you play those, when you're doing an album, are you playing that from an arrangement? Is it your arrangement or is it by ear and you just sat down?
Oh, that's my question too.
Well, the Disney albums, those are all my arrangements. Like those are how I envision the songs on piano. Okay. But I do a lot of times sit down and just play through them. It's the ideas I have. And like I said, I'll play through them and then I'll listen back and see what I do like and what I don't like. And then go in and try to fix the parts that I don't like.
But do you write down your arrangement?
No.
Okay.
It's just all in my head.
Whoa.
Okay.
God.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So you have 4 albums worth of Disney music arranged in your head.
In my head. It's scary, isn't it?
Oh my God. Yeah, a little bit, man. I mean, that's sort of what I was talking about going through Trader Joe's and like, just auto arranging. It's like your superpower. Like for me, if I was like Magneto, I would just glue metal to everything and like never move in my entire life, and just everything would come to me. I would abuse it, but I feel like you use it for good, and that's good.
Too much.
I don't know, man.
Not enough.
Yeah. Oftentimes it's just this. This is how I think before moving.
Oh my goodness!
And for those listening, he held up a bobblehead doll.
Yeah. Well, look, Jeremy, you know what? You are turning into me.
Yeah, I know. You guys, this is getting scary.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Disney albums. So how do you get the idea to do a Disney album in the first place?
Usually, when I first started doing them, this was, oh my gosh, it was probably almost 10 years ago when I first did the serious piano album. I'm a huge fan of the theme park rides, the theme park music. I love all the Disney songs, but I love the theme park rides, especially Epcot, because Epcot is my park. Like I wish they would have built one out in California, because it's like they only have it in Florida, but it's my favorite park. I love it. The music's great. I think the atmosphere in the park is amazing. Not that the other parks aren't, of course, but and we started going down to Epcot in the 80s when it first opened. So all of those old nostalgic Epcot songs, Kitchen Cabaret and Horizons and Energy, You Make the World Go Round, all of those songs we loved as we were getting to be teenagers. So that's why I wanted to try to do those on solo piano, because no one had ever done that. No, and how many people are going to really record the theme park ride music? I mean, it's not, it's not going to happen. But I thought this might be really cool and fun to do, and I had such a love for it. It was a passion of mine because I love that music. So that's how that started.
Okay. All right. Well, I do have a clip, and this is from your album Old Time Magic.
Okay.
So let's play this one. And again, I'm really bad at this, but maybe everybody else will get this too. I'm not going to give you the name. I want everybody to see if they can figure it out. Okay. Hold on a second. Any guesses?
Hill Street Blues?
Yes, the Hill Street
Well, that's
Blues,
a good
dude.
guess.
I recognize it, and I can't. The words aren't coming.
Yeah, it's the wonderful thing about Tiggers.
Wonderful thing about Tig.
Oh.
It's at a different time signature. That's why it sounds different.
I like it though.
I like it too. It's very Carthay Lounge.
It
It's
is.
very reminiscent of
Yes.
like Carthay, and it was like listening to that. I'm like, dude, I need a Manhattan and some duck wings.
Yes.
And just chill out,
and
right?
just hang out, man. Yeah, that's very good. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I grabbed.
But
Go ahead, Beth.
I was just gonna say, but like, it also like had a there was like almost like a saloon piano sound happening in there that I was
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't
ragtime
know,
or
maybe-
whatever.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
specific to like
Yeah.
the land of Winnie the Pooh. Is that what that was? I don't know, but I enjoyed that.
Oh, you think it was like a call
Thanks.
to like Critter Country?
Maybe. Who knows? I'm digging deep here.
I bet Tom does.
Yeah. No, nobody on this call would ever know. We have no idea. Yeah. So, how do you take a song like that and then put your personal spin on it? What is that process?
What I like to try to do is retain some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like not the magic, but like the essence of the original,
Mm-hmm.
and then just put a spin on it. That's what I try to do.
Okay.
But Tigger, I thought would be cute like that.
Yeah.
Because the song normally is the wonderful thing about Tigger. It's like really fast and jumpy and crazy. And I thought it'd be more fun to have this more pop, kind of fun, breezy rhythm to it, kind of a thing.
Playful.
That like a playful,
Yeah.
I thought that might be kind of cool. So that's why I tried to do it in that fashion.
Yeah.
It just kind of came to me that way.
What's your favorite genre of music?
Oh goodness. Why
Who's
love?
your favorite band?
Oh goodness. No, because I'm old. My bands are like '80s bands and stuff.
Is it-
I love
if
the
you say
Well,
Steely Dan,
yes.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I love Steely Dan.
or Queen.
Yes.
Oh my god, and Queen. of
Yes.
course,
Tom, you're my
Queen,
man.
I bet it's gonna
The
be Yaz.
Carpenters. That's more '70s, but like
Yes.
Queen, Elton John. I love his piano playing. Billy Joel
Oh,
is a great pop writer.
Sure.
I love Alan Menken, Howard Ashman. Those two
Yes.
were like amazing, I thought. And Schoenberg, he's the guy that wrote Les Mis and Miss Saigon.
Yes.
His theater writing, and like Stephen Sondheim is like insane. And so I think like pop, orchestral, and Broadway are probably my favorite styles. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
there's a lot of stuff. I love reggae. When we went
There we go.
in the '80s, we loved Ziggy Marley is what we listened
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Loved his stuff. So like I like that. I like alternative rock. I like different kind of things.
Yeah.
But I think orchestral and pop is probably my
It's
favorite.
your wheelhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's a bigger Yanni fan, you or Jeremy?
He didn't even mention Yanni.
I know, but
I have funny Yanni stories, but I'll tell you this one really quick.
okay.
I was with a friend. This was in the '90s. It was when his Live at the Acropolis album came out.
Sure, 1994.
Yes, and Jeremy, you are killing me right now.
My lord.
I didn't know who he was till then. And we went into this is when we had record stores.
Yeah.
Went into the store and they were playing it on the speaker. And I was like, who is that? I'm like, this is so cool. It sounded really lush and his playing was beautiful. And the orchestrations were great. And I asked the guy who was working, I said, it's Yanni. And I bought the CD right then and there.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that album. I thought that was a really good album.
That is, you said you had never heard of him. No one had really heard of him besides Linda Evans until that album came out, and then
Right.
put it on PBS, and everyone was like,
Right. And then that blew
same
up.
reaction. What is this?
Right.
So you have several Disney albums. My favorite, I think, is probably Pixie. What is it called? Pixie Dust.
Piano and Pixie Dust. Yeah.
Piano and Pixie Dust. But it's interesting. It's obvious that you like Epcot because of the 11 tracks, 8 of them on the Piano and Pixie Dust one are Epcot. So it's like, okay, I know where he's coming from.
I know.
How do you pick? Like you have Magical Moments 2. Like, do you decide that you want a certain theme and you're going to go heavy into a certain, or maybe a composer, or is it just like throw it up in the air and see what? Like, how does the album flow together?
It basically is what I want to record, like what I feel are the most important songs to me, the ones that I like the most. That's what I start with, and then just go from there. So like piano and pixie dust, we could only fit so many songs on there. And then we thought we'd do another one with Magical Moments 2, to also bring in some of the songbook stuff. So not only the theme park rides, but then songs from Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and things like that. Because I love all that, of course, as well. But basically, that first time was like, what are the songs I wanted to do the most? That I think would be the most fun to translate to just piano. Those are the ones I went with.
And what was the song? What is the one song that you were like, I'm going to start doing Disney. This is the song I'm going to do first.
It was, oh my God, I can't think of. I know exactly what one. It's either it actually it was two. It was Golden Dream. It was America's Golden Dream, and Tomorrow's Child. That was the one. Tomorrow's Child. I mean, do you not
that
just
song?
I know. It's heaven on earth. It's like I hear that and like it brings me right back. So it was that one in America and Golden Dream, Golden
Thank
Wing.
God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Tom, let me ask you another question. What is because I was playing a song. I'm trying to cover a Notorious B.I.G. song right now on acoustic, and it's just not coming out great yet. So what is the one Disney song that you have tried to change the feel of, and you're like, oh, I just cannot do this well? So what is that one song you want to do well that you just haven't been able to do yet?
That's a good question, because there's been some that I've thought about doing, like you said, but then thought, no, I'm going to wait till later. One of them was, oh my gosh, what was the song from Bambi? Because I did the Love Is a Song, right?
Look out, someone's shooting. Is that the song?
No,
I
think that's the B.I.G. song.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
Well played, Jeremy. That was really good.
Jeremy planted one, brother.
He knocked that one out of the park. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like.
Knocked that one out of the SUV.
It was like the one Bambi song. And then the other one was the Making Memories. That's hard to do. Long before the old Model Ts. Blah, 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 blah. That one was kind of rough. But usually, if you could take most songs if you have a vision for it, right? And just try to say, well, how can I really work this? I mean, I did It's a Small World on one of the albums and made it really nice and pretty.
Oh.
But I have another concept for that song that we can talk about towards the end that's going to be coming.
Ooh,
Okay, yes. We'll definitely talk about
really
that.
nice. But that's a really challenging song.
Okay.
To make that appealing to people, because people, they either love that song or they hate it. And when you're sitting in the ride and it's playing over, of course it's going to drive you insane.
Yeah.
But there are ways to do it where it's kind of melodic and really pretty.
Well, if you listen to Richard Sermon playing like the original arrangement of it, it's halftime, and like it feels a little bit more soothing. It's not like in your face, and I want to just kill myself because of the song at that point. So
I know, I understand.
John Debney reorchestrated it for Disneyland Paris, and it's an absolute delight. I could listen to it all day.
Yeah, it just depends on the arrangement, right?
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Well, speaking of arrangements, here's another piece that you did. This is, well, I mean, you guys will probably get this, so I won't even mention it. But here we go.
it is a more engaging version of the music you would hear in Carthay or the Disney Gallery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think this would be distracting in Carthay. Like the
I would be
Carthay,
listening
like
to the music. Yeah.
right, the strings in
Yeah.
Carthay, you don't really know. Honestly, I sort of when that string quartet, Carthay string quartet or whatever came out, that CD when we saw it, it was like, oh yeah, there's music playing in Carthay, right? And I think it's supposed to be that way. But I feel like that piece is like a focal point.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, that I think you do very, very well, and I didn't realize what it was until I heard that, and now I'm like, yeah, that's what I like. You use the sound of the piano, and the sound of the silence is almost as powerful. The way you pause and lead us up to the edge, and then you kind of back off for a second, and then you come back with it. And you do that a lot. And that, I think, is what really, if I'm walking around my house humming Illuminations or Tapestry of Nations, I'm humming your piano version of it.
Wow.
Where you put the pause, like there's a different way the phrasing of it. And that's something about how you use the silence.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I wonder if the influence is a lot because I listen to a lot of orchestral music. And since John Williams is my idol, that you find that ebb and flow, I think, a lot in orchestral music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably just a subconscious influence on me. That's probably what that's from.
He's going to sue you now.
That's awesome.
Let's do another one. This one I had to look up. This is all from the same Disney album, the Old Time Magic. I had to look this one up, and let's see if anybody else can get this too.
Yeah, I got it.
You do?
Yeah.
Everyone has it. What is it?
Hand close to my heart, never depart, baby of mine.
It's from Dumbo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you seen that movie, Jason?
No. Now I'm the Jeremy.
This is vice versa.
Oh my God. You guys are seriously freaking me out.
Weird.
You know what I like about beer?
This is why I wanted Jeremy on here. You ever seen that movie Freaky Friday? It's just like that. Well, and so I had the clip of this song like queued up, and this is the original from the movie.
Little one, when you play.
And it's like insufferable. I couldn't. It's like, just get it over with. But that's the music of the, 30s? Anyway, I like your arrangement better, Tom.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, remember, the original's from, 1940?
Right. The auto-tune hasn't been invented yet, so they were way back in the Stone Age as far as music goes.
It's a classic sound. It's classic.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to sort of advance a little bit because we are like soaking up a lot of your time, but I do have a lot of other stuff to get to. Mainly, so you did Disney albums. That's cool, whatever. But you did a Star Wars album.
I did.
Terrence, this is where you and I come together like Captain Planet to save the universe.
He's our hero. Take pollution down to zero.
That's right. Well, here's Tom's take on the main theme of Star Wars. Play. There you go. I dig it so much. It's just so, not that the original is bad in any way, shape, or form, but it's so gentle.
Yeah.
It's so gentle and soft.
Not only gentle, really but it goes back to what Jeremy's saying. Like, you're playing with whole notes on the bass, and it drones and holds. It's just so, oh my gosh, man.
Well,
it's so beautiful.
Here's
oh my gosh.
here's the Cantina song. This is where I got really
Sorry.
excited because the Cantina song is like
Super geeking out.
it's like peak Star Wars until the re-release when they pulled it for whatever reason and they changed it. Cantina song. Jeremy, you'll even know this, maybe. There's that kind of ragtime thing you were talking about earlier, Bev.
Yeah. Like Slewfoot Sue's gonna come out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it a lot. Like, it's just so good, man.
Yeah, I love that.
Because are you a big Star Wars guy?
Well,
you have to be.
I guess I should clarify. I'm the original Star Wars lover.
Okay,
Those
good.
were my childhood, right?
Yeah.
Episodes 4, 5. I like some of the new ones. I like the J.J. Abrams ones. I did not like the 90s ones.
Nobody did. Nobody did, man.
I don't know. The magic was not there for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the newer ones were okay. But there's nothing like 4, 5, and 6.
Well, and we've debated this ad nauseum on this network, and it's still something I like to talk about, but I won't get too into it because it is like, how do you take a totally new world and you give it to people with infinite storylines, and then you let them sort of stew on it, and then you give them something cooler than they thought was going to happen with Empire. Like, whoa! And then maybe linear, maybe not with Return of the Jedi. And then you're like, well, now what? Now what do we do? There's nothing left. So here's all these books and here are all these things, and everyone's taking this. And then Lucas he pulls the brake and goes, let's talk about politics. Because that's what made the first three. God, you just murdered everything. And I think that, for me, like, took the sheen off of Star Wars for the later movies. But I like what you did with this. Here's the Ewok Celebration song. Yeah, again, another amazing song. Me too. And it's not in the redos now, and I don't like it. But
no.
God damn, it's so good. Yep, no. So how do you take a celebratory, happy, like, song and sort of, drop it like that?
I wanted to slow it down a little bit just so it gave it a different feel. Still had kind of the essence of that original because it's a quirky, fun little melody, but just slow it down a little bit, but still have it kind of fun and cheeky, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all I tried to do with that.
Okay. It worked. I like it. I like it a lot.
So Ryan in the chat said, it's cool to hear Star Wars music in a way that you could hear it on Main Street. And this should be played on Main Street.
That's cool.
That's very good.
Such a good idea. Like, that's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like, I don't know, it's melding two things that I don't know, very cool.
That normally are separated.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that, Ryan. I like that idea a lot. I really do.
From that particular album, I actually really enjoyed the what is it called? Wrote it down. The Imperial March.
Uh-huh.
It was weird, but I mean, not in a bad way. Like, I mean, because it was exactly what it wasn't like difficult to figure out what song it was, but it was also completely different.
Yeah.
Just to hear it on piano, yeah.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
It's a little when things are like off tune, like, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Like a horror movie.
But also really pretty.
Yeah.
Like
ominously pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tension in it. I like that.
But also like a hint of glamour. I don't know. I really.
Someone's got a lot of panache.
Yeah. Well, you really zhuzhed that up
down there.
Yeah. Well, that album's called Journey to the Stars.
And there is actually an original song on there too. The title song, "Journey to the Stars," is original.
Original. Let's play that one.
In the vein of like the Star Wars world.
So when you write this, what are you envisioning? Because it is in the Star Wars world. Are you envisioning a point in the movies, or to me, listening to that, I feel like this is travel music. You know, because it's expansive and wide, but it's also purposeful. And look, I describe beer for like another living, so a lot of words don't really mean anything. And you know, forgive me if that just sounds wonky, but it just that's the vibe that I get. I don't know why.
No, I like it. Thank you. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of either pictured like a theme of a character, or like just the expanse of the universe.
That's
like maybe you're right, like maybe traveling through it, or taking it all in.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting off of that one.
It
was great. I loved it.
Do you record all of these? Is it always with a digital instrument? Have you ever done something in a studio with a grand piano?
Yes, the albums I did a bunch of albums for a record label in Canada years back. They're all on iTunes and stuff. It's like Lavender, Inner Peace, Love at First Sight. These are all like more meditative reflection slow album, but they're all original music. And we went into the studio and did them with pianos. And some of them have like cellos on them, and some guitars are on them. And then I did an album for Fisher Price called Twinkle Twinkle Little Starfish. And that is all like keyboard sounds, but basically all those albums we did in the studio with a real piano. I would always prefer a real piano, but I just can't afford to get into a studio and record on one. Yeah, that's the thing, because most self musicians now, we just do everything at home. But I always prefer, if I could have real instruments, I mean, hands down, every time I would have them if I could.
So that leads me to another question, because you were talking about sort of like the cost. And you released your first CDs, I think it said in 1998.
That was the first one.
Wow.
So obviously back then CD was everything, and now everything's changed. And as a musician, you know, if our listeners were going to say, how do I get his music? Would you prefer they buy the CD? Would you prefer iTunes? Do you want them to listen to it on SoundCloud? Like, how do you monetize? What's your preference? How is it working for you?
Well, I have to say, the most money an artist makes is if they buy the MP3s or buy the CDs. That's how you make the most. But no one has CDs anymore. And basically everyone just streams now. When I released that Old Time Magic, there's hardly any downloads for those MP3s. Everything is streaming now. So that's just like the new norm. So you just kind of have to adjust to that, you know? I prefer, Spotify is where I've had the most traction. I've had the most success right now, which is really amazing to me. I have, I checked this morning, I have 72,000 monthly listeners. My number one song that has been streamed like millions of times is Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
That's my number one.
Wow, dude. That's crazy.
Unbelievable. So I got to tell you, it's all the people that listen to the podcast, because when those albums were coming out, I went on a bunch of Disney podcasts to promote it, and they were so gracious with me, and the people really liked it. It's all because of fans, really. I mean, it's all possible because people like to listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. But I prefer, I guess, Spotify, because that's where I'm most attracted. But I don't, honestly, if people just listen to it, I'm happy. Like, I just want people to hear it and hope that they like it.
It sounds like for people who want to buy it, just buy the MP3s directly from wherever you can,
from iTunes or where. But there's no CDs anymore. Like there's no CDs of any of these Disney albums.
Oh, really?
No, because we only did MP3s at the time, because that's all people were doing with that.
Sure,
makes sense.
Sure.
So, and now I will still do MP3s, because I still think there should be if people want to download the music, they should be able to.
Yeah.
But mostly everything's streaming now. It's all streaming.
Wow.
So,
what's your favorite Disney park?
Well, besides Epcot.
Of course. Yes. That's everybody's favorite.
I have to say, after moving here to California, I never liked Disneyland. We came here once in like the 80s, but we were so used to Disney World, Walt Disney World.
Sure.
Disneyland was like, what? There's nothing here. Like, where is it?
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's like midget Autopia. It's like, what is this?
But since I've moved here and gone there, I really have a love and appreciation for it, because it's the first park It's the one that Walt walked through.
Yeah.
It's where his apartment was at the top. There's so much there to take in. And I really do think the Pirates ride here and the Haunted Mansion here are the best. The Haunted Mansion here with the
Yes.
Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
Oh my God.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So I do love Disneyland here, but I also I like Animal Kingdom's really special, I think, too. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of park, and it's more peaceful to walk through. Maybe not the Avatar part, but you can walk through different parts of it, and you feel like you're all alone. You're surrounded by trees and in the shrubbery, and so it's beautiful. It's a beautiful park, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So,
what's your guys' favorite park?
well, everyone's gonna say Disneyland, and nobody should say DCA or they're fired. No, Terrence loves DCA. No, that would give you too much joy to fire you, Terrence. You have to work. That would be too much relief in your life to not do a thing.
Oh.
Terrence is busy 26 hours a day.
It's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Disneyland too. Taryn and I went to Disney World a few years back, and Epcot ruled. That's the park we kept going back over and over. Besides concierge at the hotel to get more rosé wine because that Florida
There you
heat,
go.
you know.
Don't go in the summer. I could never go in the summer.
We went in
It's too hot.
September, and it was still like, wow, this is
warm.
90. Like when the temperature matches the humidity level, you're not having a good time.
It's not good.
Yeah. Honest opinion now, Dole Whips are trash, right? Like you don't like a Dole Whip.
I don't have anything against the Dole Whip. I don't.
Okay.
I really don't.
All right. Well, that's fine, I guess.
You know, the Mickey Mouse. You get the Mickey Mouse ice cream sandwich thing. There's always that.
Yeah. Terrence.
So
Terrence has something to say.
Yeah. So Tom, this is from the chat. What's your favorite ride? And also, what is your favorite song from a ride?
Wow.
Oh, good question. I love Test Track in Epcot. I think
that's a cool ride, man.
It's really neat.
It's a fun ride. I have not been to the remake since it's been remodeled. I haven't been on it, but I haven't. So it's been a few years since I've been down there, but I love that ride. I think it's just a great ride. I have to say, in terms of songs, does it have to be current or could it be one of the older?
Do whatever you want.
It can be anything you want.
It's your show, Tom.
Okay, because I love Tomorrow's Child from Spaceship. I gotta say, Spaceship Earth is probably my other all-time favorite ride.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited they're remodeling it. I think it does need it, but I love the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
So Tomorrow's Child, I don't think plays in there anymore, but that was the big song way back when. So I think Tomorrow's Child.
I don't remember it, so I'll just pull it up here for a second. Oh yeah, I think we have heard this.
Yeah.
And you know what else is a great song? Is the Canada song. Canada, my Canada. That's an awesome song.
Do you have a cover of Spectro Magic? Excuse me, Spectro Magic.
One of them has. I do, yes.
Good.
Because it was requested by someone once, and I did it.
Was it Jeremy Murray?
Yeah.
I don't remember who.
Well, because Jeremy comes on our show every once in a while and does like a sort of a history of the music of a thing, right? Either like an attraction or whatever. And that segment was called Spectro Magic. What the fuck is it called,
cool.
Jeremy?
Spectro Time.
I keep cursing, and I need to remember to not.
Yeah, this isn't the secret
This
show.
I didn't know. Is this a family show? I don't know.
It's a family show,
Yes.
and I'm not supposed to do it, but I feel very comfortable, so now I am. Anyway, whatever. That's that. What's your favorite Disney soundtrack?
Oh my goodness.
There's only one answer.
I would have to say one of my favorites still is Beauty and the Beast. That soundtrack, that film.
That's a good one.
That is good.
Do you remember
really
when
good
I
one.
remember seeing that film? I was so blown away. We saw it at the theater. I saw it with a couple of friends or so. I remember I called my mom. I said, "Mom, you have to come see this movie. I'll see it again." It's an amazing film, and but the music was so amazing.
Well, that's Menken and Rice also, right?
Yeah, it's Menken and Ashman, Little Mermaid. Yes, and then he died before they did. Wait, did he do Aladdin or was?
I think he did. I think he was alive for Aladdin.
Those were the three, and then that was it.
Yeah.
But Beauty and the Beast is, oh my
I was
Wow, what a score.
I was hoping you were going to say Nightmare Before Christmas because that's mine.
Oh, well, come on. That's an amazing soundtrack.
and then it would be Moana.
I love Moana.
I love Moana too. The arrangements of those songs are very, very cool. The way that he just sort of plays with even just like the lyrics and kind of callbacks. I like callbacks in songs. I don't know why. It's very, very, very clever. Very, very good. Very fresh.
That guy's a genius. Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's just a genius. He's a genius.
Yeah.
His music is unbelievable. I love Moana. It's great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
But Nightmare Before Christmas is like my high school my high school memories singing that soundtrack to whatever. It was a real weird time for me.
Now, do you guys really quick? Another one of the most amazing scores ever to me was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yes. That music. I don't know if you might hate the movie or whatever, but the score in that was like insane.
I don't remember. I've seen it when it came out, and it was when I was in high school. I don't remember. I haven't seen it since, so I don't remember.
It's an insane soundtrack.
I'll check it out.
Amazing.
I'll check it out.
It's good, and Disney recently has done a very good job of incorporating it into their shows. So Happily Ever After at the Magic Kingdom, Disney Illuminations in Paris, the way they use it is so the way they incorporate it, because sometimes they crowbar that music in and you're like, oh, now we're hearing it, but it really carries the story forward, and that soundtrack, it's amazing.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great one.
Tell me about your latest Disney album that's about to come out.
Well, I'm working on it right now. So I had a thought about a month ago. So I'm working on it now. Hope I'll get it done in a couple months, maybe 2 months or so. But I'm very excited about this. This is a labor of love for me, and this is something different that I've never done. I'm doing a Disney album that's like reflection or meditative. So basically, you would put this album on to go to sleep, to study, to chill out at the end of the day, to meditate, relax. Like it's going to be very slow. And I'm using what's called a felt piano. I don't know if on a piano, you can put a piece of felt in between the keys, the hammers, and the strings. So it creates a much softer sound, and you can hear the little hammers clicking on the felt. It's a different kind of sound.
Okay.
But I'm putting the song list together. I've already recorded like 4 songs, and I'm just going to add really light instrumentation to it, like maybe a flute here, an oboe there. It's going to be a really slow album, but I'm really excited about it.
That's
nice.
Cool.
That's cool. What's it going to be called?
That's awesome.
I have a title yet, but I'm not sure I can say it yet.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure 100%. I just have the idea.
Okay.
But it's basically just going to be songs from the Disney songbook. There'll be a couple theme park rides in there. Freaky Friday will be in there. I'd Like to Be You for a Day. Now you have to understand that movie we loved it in my childhood. It was like Freaky Friday. We loved it when that came out. So that song is very nostalgic for me. But so that's going to be on there. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it.
Nice. I like it, man. Well, let us know when it comes out.
That's what's coming up next. Absolutely. I'll for sure let you know. That's what's going to be coming up next, hopefully in a few months at most.
Okay. Very cool, man. We'll be looking forward to it.
The chat's really excited about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I think it's something that, I don't know. I think it's something we need right now just because of everything that's been happening, even just for myself. Because honestly, I don't know as musicians because I don't listen to my own music. Like I don't put my own music on in the car. I put other people's stuff on.
Sure.
But I find myself just going for a lot of soft things lately, just things that can relax and unwind me.
Yeah.
So I think this would be fun to do a Disney style like that, like with songs that you know, but they're really reflective and slow and meditative.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, you're hitting on something for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
Thank you.
We're gonna wind. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bev.
Just a quick question: I don't think we talked about. Is there any particular soundtrack or song that you just don't vibe with?
I'm trying to think. At first, Small World was kind of hard at first, but then I think I figured that out. Now, It's a Small World is going to be on this new one too, but wait till you hear it. I'm telling you, it's really nice. I'm really excited.
I like It's a Small World. It's fine.
Yeah, it's cool, but there really hasn't been any song that's been, what did I?
You're fine.
This is what you said. It's cool. It's very funny to me. That's all. Yeah.
But there hasn't really been a song that I just absolutely hate. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't come across that yet.
You know, it's funny. Like I listened to this podcast. I talk about it all the time. It's called Dollar Country, and it's this guy in Kentucky who just goes to like buys old country albums in bulk, and they're like unheard musicians usually. Anyway, and it's great. But he was talking on, I think, Instagram or whatever, about like he wants to sort of expand the songs that he plays on his shows. Because he's like, I don't want people to think that these songs are bad, but I don't really think there is a bad song inherently, and he's a musician also. And I wonder if that's just sort of a musical thing where once you learn how to do a music, you sort of have like an appreciation for it. So it's not like that's not bad because it took this amount of energy to create the song and it's very creative. I just might not like it, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
That's true. I mean, that could be a lot. It's just a lot of it is taste, personal preferences and what you like and what you don't like. A lot of it just comes down to that as well.
Yeah, like the whole of Illuminations. It's not very good either. But
The what?
Illuminations. I'm just trying to rile Jeremy up. That's all.
Oh my God, that's like the best thing that ever. Illuminations was like the best.
Taryn and I got to see it, and afterwards, it's like this is what it should be. This is what everything should be, and then we get World of Color, which is cool. It's fine, but it doesn't have lasers through fireworks smoke.
I know. Well, the whole theme of Illuminations was amazing. You know what was a really good show too? And I don't know about the one at Disney World, but we had it here too. Is the one, but here at Disneyland, they had Julie Andrews was the host of it. It was Wishes.
Remember
Wishes.
In Disneyland, it was called Remember Dreams Come True, but it used the theme to Wishes.
Oh my, Jeremy, it was like the most amazing thing because I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. It was a great show.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Well, it's interesting. They took that show because basically that was for the 50th and it was a celebration of all the different areas of the park.
Right.
Tokyo took that show, reorchestrated it, and it's called Celebrate Tokyo Disneyland. It's even better.
Wow.
It doesn't have Julie Andrews.
I have not heard it.
Well, you got to tune into Spectro Radio.
I gotta do that so I can hear it. I like that plug.
Yeah,
sure.
Jeremy's smooth. He's our felt piano. He's just soft, but you can still hear him in the background. Right he just
goes between my hammers.
Tom, well, we're gonna let you go here in a second, but I do have our little 7 questions to ask, and they're just minimalist answers. If you want, we'll do whatever you want. I don't care. You could write a book about each one. I don't really care, but they're just sort of fun and something fun to do. Why not, right? Let's have some fun tonight.
Sure.
What is your favorite Disney attraction? So it could be ride or show or whatever. Mine is the benches.
What is yours?
The benches in Disneyland.
Oh yeah. Okay. I love Spaceship Earth. Let's go. I love that ride.
That's good. What is your least favorite?
I'd have to say, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. No, I can't say that. What about? Can we say now that I don't like that they put Frozen into Norway. Like I don't like that.
That's good.
You.
I don't like it. I mean, I understand why they do it, but it's like, but that ruins it for me. Yeah. But I'd have to say the least favorite one is the old. What's the I know it's classic and people are going to hate me. I think it's the Peter Pan ride where you go like it's okay, but it's like I don't know.
So overrated.
It's overrated.
Like you were saying, like, why is the line so long for that? Like I don't
understand. Yeah. Yes. I don't get it either. Right. It's crazy.
It's classic. I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, so is Snow White. But now with more pastel, so that'll be fun. Which do you prefer, pie-eyed Mickey or round-eyed Mickey?
I like what's the old one?
The pie, the pie with like the slice of pie cut out of his like pupil or whatever.
No, the other one.
The other one. You like the round-eyed.
Round-eyed Mickey.
Got it. Okay. What old ride should they bring back to the parks?
Horizons.
Yes.
What current ride? what current ride should they remove? So it doesn't have to be like your least favorite, but something that'll like at least make the parks a little bit better, even though it might be fine. I don't know.
Oh, geez, I don't know. That's hard.
I'll give you a
I don't-
pass
I
if you
don't-
want.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you a pass. Who's
Okay, pass me on that one.
Who's your favorite Disney character?
I love Sebastian from Little Mermaid. He's always one of my favorites.
That's a great
Wasn't he
answer.
Awesome.
That's a good answer.
Orchestra leader. That's
Yeah,
not bad. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Well, I remember you saying I should be writing symphonies, not tagging it to some headstrong teenager. Like, it was like hilarious.
Like, that's
It was
me.
funny.
Yeah. And then finally, if you could travel back in time and meet Walt Disney, what would you say to him?
Oh my goodness, that's a great. First of all, I would say thank you for sharing your talent with the world, and I would just want to sit down and ask him questions about his vision of Epcot, what he really thought. What did he really think of Disneyland the day it opened with all the issues they had?
Yes,
But I
what
That'd be a
his,
great question.
yeah, what his
Yeah,
stress
like-
level was at that time.
Yeah. How many cigarettes did you smoke?
How
that
many
day?
cigarettes did you smoke?
Yeah, how many scotches were you on when you went on TV?
No, right? But I would be fascinated to talk to him, wouldn't it?
Oh my
Just to-
gosh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tom Ameen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming. I go to Tom Ameen Music. That's TOMAMEEN music.com. He also does virtual piano lessons too. So if you guys are
Yes.
interested in brushing up on your piano skills or learning more or whatever, contact Tom, and all his information's there. All his music's there. You can learn all about Tom over there. Thank you very much, Tom. I had a great time. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome. Anytime you guys want me to come back,
Oh,
let me know,
absolutely.
because this is awesome.
Oh, cool. Good. I'm glad you liked it.
Great.
Hopefully we can
No, I
meet
had
up
a-
in
I had a
Disneyland
great time.
someday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Hopefully we can meet up in Disneyland someday.
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be
That'd be
nice.
great.
Someday.
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 That would
Someday.
be cool. It's gonna happen.
It'll
It's gonna
happen. Yeah. Absolutely.
happen. And then, Jeremy, you'll have to come here, or we'll have to come visit you at Disney World. Walt
Mhm.
Disney World.
Or both.
Yeah, come to Epcot.
Yeah, let's spend the day at Epcot. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Cool.
cool.
All right,
Thank
Tom.
you guys very
Thanks,
much.
man. We'll let you go.
Tom.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great night, all of you. Okay.
Thank you. You
It's
too.
good to meet you guys too. It's good to meet
You
you.
too.
Yeah. Thanks,
All
man.
right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.
The great Tom Ameen.
He is so nice.
That was
Yeah.
really cool.
That was
What a talent.
Yeah.
so
what
fun.
talent. I subscribed to him on.
Yeah, I already
Spotify.
followed him on Instagram.
I
and
actually
like
downloaded all of his stuff on iTunes while he was on as well.
Oh, I just torrented
Oh,
it all. I
good.
stole it all. I'm not paying him a fucking. I gotta stop. I gotta
what is
stop.
up
saying-
with
I don't
you,
know.
dude?
I don't know. But it'll be funny to
Wow.
beep it out. So it'll be fine.
I'm like, this whole show was so over my head that like, I'm like, wow, I like music.
Yeah.
And like, that's like the extent of like
the
anything that I understood.
the only like deep nerd music thing I know is a joke from Cannibal the Musical, which is Trey Parker and Matt Stone's first
Oh,
movie,
jeez.
where like it's a musical, Cannibal the Musical, and there's like a point where he's like, wait, are you singing Mixolydian scales or something? And I have no idea what that means. But I use it every now and then to make myself, sound smart to people who might know what that means. And then I go, yep, cool, I'm out.
You're a dork.
I don't know anything about music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was very fun. I think his music is excellent.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I was planning on doing Disney News, but
Outstanding.
that interview went a lot longer than I thought because Tom was
Awesome.
very, very fun to talk to. So I think we're just going to end the show
Yeah.
here in a little bit. Actually, I do want to. I do have one more clip from Tom's that I want to play. Here it is.
Hello, it's Sean O'Sullivan, the brewmaster and co-founder of the 21st Amendment Brewery, and we are proud to announce a fresh addition into our Hell or High series of beers with Hell or High Pomegranate. Our California Bay Area brewery has done it again, creating a crisp and refreshing wheat beer that pairs well with the season. Hell or High Pomegranate is made with real fruit and is sweet with a slightly tart finish. It's a perfect beer to enjoy during this time of year and can brighten any rainy or wintry day. Behind all that soft and elegant pomegranate flavor and aroma is a wonderful wheat beer with its biscuity, light bready notes, and at a mere 4.9% alcohol is quite enjoyable. Hell or High Pomegranate is available across the country where 21st Amendment beer is sold on draft and in cans. That's right, cans.
Thank you to Sully. We have some. Whoa, we have some Hell or High Pomegranate in the fridge. I should have brought some out. It's good. I like it. And I read that they're releasing Hell or High Watermelon again, which is like the daddy of the fruited wheat beer. So And then, Tom was talking about his love for Epcot. If you're itching to go to Epcot, the only way you can get there is through Conti Ears. That's a new rule. It's a new edict that I passed, and I don't know if anybody knows that or not. But you buy your tickets through ContiEars.com. They charge you the same price that the parks would, and it helps Conti Ears out. They're our official travel partner. So check them out, ContiEars.com. Follow them on social media. Thank them very much, please, for sponsoring the show. Throw them an email. Make drop a comment on one of their posts or something like that. Just to let them know that you hear them, and when you're ready to go to the parks, you're going to use them. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. I think we're done. Jeremy, thank you very much, man, for staying up super late and helping with that show and for connecting Tom to us.
That's what I do. I make connections. I bring people together.
Yep, you sure do, man.
You're like our very own Tinder.
That's right. We're going to swipe right on your suggestion.
Oh, we swipe next.
All right, here, hang on. Let me find the... I don't have my outro, so whatever, dude. Here, I'm just going to do this. There we go. Sounds fine. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to Tom Ameen. You go to TomAmeenMusic.com and learn more about him. That Star Wars album was fire, dude. I loved it. I'm going to go buy it right now. I thought it was great. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. And until next time, we'll see you in the parks.
The chat said to make the bleeps his piano.
Just pick a chord.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Is this still called a chord when it's a piano?
Yes.
A note.
No.
It depends on if he's playing one note or multiple notes at the same
I
time.
know. I'm telling you, I literally know nothing about music.
Who are you to correct me? Oh, no. What you mean is a no. Oh. Whatever. All right. Well, that's it. Unless you want to stay in chat.
I'm going to go spend some time with my wife, who I haven't seen since 7 this morning.
All right. I mean,
I'm going to go eat dinner.
Couldn't be me, but that's fine. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bev, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 for our Pilates class.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, we're doing Pilates.
Oh, no.